So I was working as a troubleman for my company. Got called out in the morning to go check a pad-mounted capacitor bank, and went out there with an engineer and an electrical technician. And when we went over this thing, it wasn't operating correctly. Did some checks on it, still wasn't operating correctly. So I kind of, being the troubleshooter, our job is being curious and trying to figure out exactly what the problems were. Did a little further investigation, actually found a broken connector inside the capacitor bank. I took a look at it. Ultimately, it ended up in the loss of my left hand. So, like I said, an unfortunate set of events, but everything that I know about electricity and electrical theory, what happened to me should have killed me. So, for whatever reason, I got a second shot at it, and one of the things that I can do to hopefully help nobody else have this same thing happen to them is at least share my story, let people know that safety is certainly a priority.
When the IBEW was founded in 1891 in St. Louis, it was not founded to improve wages or hours or benefits. It was founded to promote safety. It was a horribly unsafe profession at the time. And in fact, Henry Miller, who was our founding president of the National Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, was killed in an industrial accident just a few years after the founding of the IBEW. But it's in our DNA. It has been the core mission of the IBEW for 127 years.
His name was Tommy Hopewell, and he was working on a transmission line. I wasn't there or anything, but it was a dead end, and I believe it's really complicated. I believe he got in between a bonded hardware on a pole and a EPZ'd grounded line. So the bonded hardware on the pole had a different ground potential than the actual line did for a driven screw ground, and just that difference of potential. And he never pulled out of it. He was in an induced coma, and once they took him off life support, he was gone. And married, 2 kids, beautiful family, had the world, in a headlock, really. He was doing all right, just bought a home, and it really had a huge effect on most of us down there.
It's about 30 years ago. We were working a storm. I had got sent out to put some spreader brackets in some open wire. Out of the bucket truck, I went all the way to the back of the truck, started putting the spreader brackets, worked my way all the way to the front of the truck. I had about 5 in, so when I looked towards the dead end, where I put the spreader brackets in, I thought, well, I wanted to see if I did a good job, so I grabbed the wire to see and to shake it to see if it was going to get together again. The minute I grabbed it, I could taste my feelings in my mouth. I could see, I could feel 60 cycles going through me. I'm concentrating on my right hand, trying to let it go, but I couldn't let it go. Luckily, I was taught when I worked in the bucket truck was to work it right here. So the only thing that saved me was I dropped down in the bucket, my hands broke free. My mom, my dad, my brothers and sisters came. What hurt me the worst was that seeing the pain in their eyes, the pain that I know that I caused them. No family member should have to go through that. If I can stop somebody from feeling what I felt from that outcome, it's all worth it.
Hold the pull is a wire stringing term that linemen generally use as a part of the process of pulling wire. And what hold the pull means is stop everything, check the problem, clear the problem, and then resume the pull. So what we did is we went ahead and we adopted that term as sort of a way of describing what the process is that we're trying to do within our peer-to-peer program.
I got involved with Hold the Pull right from the beginning because the person I went through all my schools with and stuff had a pretty bad accident at work. So once that happened, and you hear stories, but to really see something that close to you happen, somebody that you really know, it just made me want to, try to get involved and do something maybe to stop that.
Hold the Pull initially was started in 2009 when Tom Delzell, our business manager, took note of the fact that there was 15 fatalities that we had had since 2003, and he wanted to get people in the line trade together to try to find out what the problem was. And so what we did is we had a group meeting so that we could try to figure out what was going on, why people were dying on the job, what was happening with their decision making when they're working.
Hold the Pull is important to me because I've had several friends in this trade get killed on the job. When you have something like that happen, you know, whether you're there or you just know the person involved, it affects you.
If I was to be involved with a serious incident, for one, I know my family would definitely be affected. I'm the breadwinner of the family, you know. Everything that we do, you know, comes from my income. I need to make sure that I'm doing things right on the job to make sure that I go home to, you know, play ball with my son.
Usually when we have if I have a cowboy on the crew, won't confront him in front of anybody else. Pull him off to the side and we'll talk. And we'll say, I know your wife, I know your kids. Don't make me have to answer to them because you did something stupid. Don't make me have to answer to the whole crew why I didn't stop you.
I'd say my most important attribute that makes me work safe is to continually practice being a better individual, being a better safety-minded person. I don't think anybody really gets better at anything if they don't practice it. You know, Babe Ruth didn't get good at hitting a baseball without practicing.
Being my brother's keeper means watching out for the guys I work with, watching their back, and also just being a keeper means to protect them. So rather I'm protecting them from them cutting a corner or taking a shortcut, or I'm protecting them from themselves. Sometimes guys come in and they're not right, and that's my job to recognize that and take care of them. So that's what that means to me, always being there for them and always protecting them.